Sweet Picks, Solo Lane AD Thresh. Hi, I'm Bloody Maniac, and I'm about to tell you why AD Thresh is so extremely fun. This series is dedicated to fun and unusual builds on the champions we play and enjoy every day. Thresh, the support I carried myself all the way up to gold with. Anyway, he's been my main support over the last 2 years alongside Blitzcrank. He's one of the god tiers when it comes to supports, but did you know that you can play in top or even mid? To be able to talk about his other abilities, we need to start off with his passive, Damnation. This has 2 parts to it. First off, he scales slightly different with attack speed compared to other champions. His animation only becomes slightly increased with the increase of attack speed, but the reason to this is his basic attacks, although ranged, does not count as projectiles. This means that they will pass right through Justice's wind wall, or even Bronze on break wall. This is what I know, totally unique for Thresh. The second part of this passive is that when you kill a unit or a champion, they drop their souls. Small creeps and monsters only have a slight chance to do this, while bigger things like champions or bigger jungle monsters like red or blue buff always drop these. These souls give you 0.75 armor and AP each. This is really strong, whether you play him support, brawler or mage. You can quite easily get up to 100 AP and armor by the end of games. This leads him to be quite naturally tanky. One of the downsides to this is that he does not get armor natural by leveling up like other champs. You can only get armor by either items or these souls. Moving swiftly on, his Q, Death Sentence. This is probably the most appropriately named ability in the whole game. It really captures the feel when you manage to land it on the right opponent. This, similarly to Blitzcrank's Q, is the make or break ability in Thresh's kit. This is although a bit more forgiving compared to Blitzcrank. If you happen to hook the fully stacked 20-0 Shogath, you still have the choice to not engage. This is something that many people seem to forget. This ability scales with AP, but due to the immense amount of utility this brings, AD builds are still a reasonable choice. Now, his W, Dark Passage. This will save so many of your teammates. This ability once again scales with AP, but it doesn't need AP to be completely awesome. Being able to save your teammates when they happen to have one of their brain dead moments are close to a godsend. It is really hard to counter this too. You either manage to place a ward directly on top of the lantern, or if you happen to be something huge like Tahm Kench or Shogath, you can't body block it by simply standing on top of it. Other than that, there is really no other way to prevent someone from taking the lantern other than killing them before they even reach it. Now, his E, Flay. There's 2 parts once again to this ability, so let's start off with the active. This skill can mess up so many dashes and jumps. When you land this ability, it displaces the opponent in the direction of your cursor. If you cast this in the opposite direction of which your opponent is trying to flee, you immediately pull them towards you. It's also close to an immediate cast due to its quite short animation, so it's quite hard to miss it. It scales just like every other of Thresh's abilities with AP, but brings a ton of utility even though you're AD. Now, the passive part of this ability. While you're not attacking anything, you charge up the passive for an enhanced auto attack. The damage of this thing is based on the amount of souls you have and the amount of AD. At max rank, this can do 200% of your AD. That is all the souls you have collected, plus 200% of your AD as extra magic damage with your auto attack. This also makes it really hard to build against Thresh, as he makes a ton of mixed damage with his abilities and his passive, plus his auto attacks. And lastly, his A, the box. This is really satisfying when you manage to capture the entire enemy team into this. Although you might die in the process, you will most likely win the fight if you do this at the right moment, that is. This ability has a 99% quote-unquote slow, which is insane. It's like trying to walk through knee-deep mud with a car strapped on your back. That's pretty much the feeling you get. It, once again, scales with AP but brings great utility. And yes, AD Thresh is a valid choice as well, but a subject for a whole nother video. And there you have it, all of his abilities. As you can see, the only ability with any sort of AD scaling is his E, but the incomprehensible amount of utility he brings to the team is the reason why I play him AD. Being able to hold people still for an eternity, while simply flying away at them without them being able to flee is incredibly satisfying. So, how do you even play AD Thresh? It's quite easy actually. Poke. Poke all the time. As a ranged AD bruiser, you have the benefit of being able to safely poke and farm from distance. You also have quite high early game damage. You'll probably be able to force your enemy to go back, or even be able to kill him. Trying to drag him under the turret is always a good move. It's at mid-game that Thresh happened to fall off slightly. His damage at this point is not all that great, but he still brings his utility. So if you gank the other lanes and go with one of your allies to catch enemies off guard, you still be able to keep the momentum going. Now, late game. Oh, this is where the fun really begins. As long as you're slightly ahead, you'll be able to charge up your E passive. When it's fully charged, you'll be able to almost one-shot the enemy AD carry. You'll probably have enough AD and wife steal, one weave on any opponent as long as they doesn't one-shot you in the first place. If you decided to go a bit tankier, then full AD you don't need to worry about being one-shot. When it comes to builds, you have a variety of different build paths to choose from. You can go full tank, off tank, full AD or anything in between. I personally enjoy a quite high damage focused build with a lot of on-hit effects. Blade of the Ruined King is a great choice as it gives you a percentage health damage. I cannot recommend having items like Trinity Force though. You are not enough spam friendly to utilize these items to its full potential. If you enjoy a tank you build, Frozen Malice item I gladly recommend. It brings even more slows to the table, so no one will be able to flee from you. You will quite literally be the jailer of the enemy team. And there you have it, AD Thresh, and what he's all about. My main support champion in a different lane than he was intended for. I guarantee if you give him a chance that you'll be pleasantly surprised. Take these tips to your heart and stay bloody, my friends.